The night Evelyn Shaw disappeared began like any other. The air in Marlow Creek carried the crisp bite of autumn. The diner's neon sign hummed faintly in the distance, glowing against the dark sky. Inside, Evelyn tied her apron, stacked a final pile of plates, and laughed with her co-worker Sarah about the interview she had in the morning. She was 23 years old, a nursing student, ambitious, kind, the kind of girl who remembered everyone's birthday and carried Band-Aids in her purse because, as she said, you never know when someone will need a little care. At 9:30 p.m., she pushed open the glass door of the diner, waved goodbye, and stepped into the night. That was the last time anyone saw her alive. The following morning, Evelyn's mother expected her daughter to burst through the front door, flushed with nerves and excitement about her nursing interview. But the house was silent. Hours passed. The phone rang, but it wasn't Evelyn. It was Sarah, worried. Evelyn hadn't come home. By noon, panic turned to dread. Her father drove through every street in town, searching. And then they found it, Evelyn's car. It was parked just 2 blocks from the diner. The doors were unlocked. Her purse sat on the passenger seat, but the keys were gone. There were no signs of a struggle, no fingerprints, no trace of where she had gone. Her best friend Sarah later told police she wouldn't just leave. Evelyn had plans. She was excited. Someone took her. The town rallied. Flyers were stapled to telephone poles. Volunteers combed through fields and forests with flashlights. Mothers locked their doors tighter at night. Fathers walked their daughters home from work. Marlow Creek was no longer safe. But the longer the search went on, the more it felt as if Evelyn had been swallowed whole by the night. Rumors began to swirl. And in a town as small as Marlow Creek, rumors are powerful. The first name was Victor Raines, a businessman with more money than anyone else in the county. Raines had been trying to buy up land, including land owned by Evelyn's father. They had clashed publicly, and when Raines wanted something, people said he always got it. The second was Mark Latham, Evelyn's ex-boyfriend. Their relationship had ended in shouting matches and slammed doors. Friends described him as jealous, controlling. He had been seen lurking near the diner in the weeks before she vanished. The third was a mystery, a drifter. Witnesses recalled a stranger on the road that night, a tall figure in a worn jacket, a cigarette glowing in the dark. No one knew his name. Soon, no one could find him. Investigators tried to make sense of the chaos, but testimonies clashed. One person swore they saw Evelyn heading toward her car. Another insisted she was walking in the opposite direction. Details contradicted. Leads unraveled. The truth slipped further away. The deeper they dug, the more the case felt like trying to hold water in their hands. Weeks later, hope flickered again. Hunters stumbled across a scrap of fabric deep in the woods. It was soaked with blood. Tests confirmed it matched the dress Evelyn had been wearing that night. The Shaw family thought, this is it. This is the evidence we've been waiting for. But just as quickly, the tide turned. The county prosecutor announced the evidence was inconclusive. The blood, he claimed, could not be definitively tied to Evelyn. And just like that, the breakthrough was snuffed out. The case reached the courtroom of Judge Harold Whitmore. To most, Whitmore was the embodiment of justice in Marlow Creek. Stern, unshakable, trusted. Evelyn's family believed, perhaps naively, that truth would finally matter. Inside the courtroom, Evelyn's mother clutched her daughter's photograph. Her father sat stone-faced, knuckles white. Claire, Evelyn's younger sister, whispered to herself, please, please let this be enough. But piece by piece, hope unraveled. Sarah's testimony that she saw Evelyn walking toward a car was dismissed as unreliable. Another friend's claim of seeing Mark Latham near the diner was struck down as hearsay. The bloody fabric, labeled insufficient. Judge Whitmore's voice was calm, measured, almost rehearsed. He wasn't weighing truth. He was dismantling it. And then Claire saw it, just a flicker. The judge's eyes, glancing toward Victor Raines in the back row. Raines sat perfectly composed, gold cufflinks glinting in the light. He didn't flinch. He didn't look nervous. If anything, he looked satisfied. Whispers began. Raines had poured money into Whitmore's campaign. Behind closed doors, deals had been made. The gavel fell. 3 words cut the air. Insufficient grounds. The case was dismissed. Gasps rippled through the gallery. Evelyn's mother collapsed into tears. Her father sat motionless, as if carved from stone, and Victor Raines rose quietly, straightened his suit, and walked out of the courtroom. Everyone in that room saw it. Justice was supposed to be blind, but in Marlow Creek, justice had a price. The Shaw family refused to give up. Evelyn's mother became the face of the fight for truth. She showed up at every hearing with Evelyn's photo pressed to her chest. She spoke to reporters. She begged, "All I want is the truth. Please, don't let them forget her." But each time evidence resurfaced, it vanished again in technicalities. Witnesses who once swore to what they saw now recanted. Some said they were pressured. Others said they were afraid. The drifter, perhaps the only person who had truly seen what happened, was gone, vanished like smoke. The investigation froze. The case file grew dust. The town, once frantic, grew silent. It wasn't that the evidence wasn't there. It was that the evidence was never allowed to matter. And in that silence, the cruelest irony took root. Everyone knew the truth, but the truth was locked away, buried under money, under power, under silence. Years passed. Evelyn's name became a whisper, a ghost. But for her family, the pain never faded. On the anniversary of her disappearance, her brother walked to the roadside where her shoe had been found. He placed a single flower there. The wind carried the faint sound of church bells. He stood in silence, whispering his sister's name. Justice did not come. The guilty walked free. The powerful thrived. Justice does not always die in the absence of truth. Sometimes it is murdered in plain sight by those sworn to protect it. Evelyn Shaw's case remains unsolved. And in that silence lies the cruelest irony of all. Justice wasn't lost in the dark. It was buried in the light of day. The screen fades to black. The echo of church bells lingers.